Hello, my name is Nicholas Evertz. We're going to do a very gentle mat class today. We can start by sitting up on a blanket or a block, whatever feels most comfortable for you, or a bolster if you have one of these and that feels good. You can start either in a simple cross-legged position, or we can even take the legs straight out in front of us. For any other position we know that feels comfortable. So whatever that is for you, sitting onto your supports, relaxing the hands and the knees of the thighs wherever it feels right, allowing the shoulders to drop back down, eyes open or closed. And just taking a moment to feel the surfaces that are supporting the body. And as we begin our practice, allowing the senses to just open up, allowing all the perceptions to come to you, noticing any taste in the mouth, any smell in the air around you. Maybe the feeling of the clothes on your skin or the air against it. Anything within the visual field, even with the eyes closed. And welcoming the sounds outside of the room you're in, sounds inside of the room. And even sounds within the body. And then just feeling the vibrant aliveness of the body. Maybe it's the beating of the heart, or just a sense of life and vitality, or a feeling of expansive vibration. Just feeling the vital aliveness of the body. And welcoming in an intention for today's practice. This may be to be attentive or alert. It could be to be mindful to the wisdom of the body and to listen to it as it brings us any messengers. Or it may be something else in your life. Just affirming that attention with your body and your mind. And then sensing this deep sense of being and well-being within us. This wholeness that we can always drop back into, night or day, no matter the situation. And just resting back in that felt sense of being and well-being. And as you're ready, you may want to open your eyes if they were closed. At any time, feel comfortable to change your legs, switch the cross, bring them out in front of you. We're going to be on the floor for most of the practice here. We may get onto the knees and the hands. Let's just gently start with the neck, chin down towards the chest, and we'll do a couple circles here. We're going to bring the ear to the outside, using the breath to initiate the movement, inhaling up, and then using that exhale to come down and through the other side. Taking your time, not pushing into pain. Inhale up, exhale down. Noticing the sensations in the neck, listening to the wisdom of your body, and knowing you can stop at any time and take a break or just choose not to do any of these practices. Okay. One more circle. Inhale up and exhale down. Chin to the chest. Go ahead, stop here. And then we'll do opposite direction. Using the inhale to begin the roll, come up. And using the exhale to come down. Yeah, as we're breathing, feeling the belly and the abdomen expand out with the inhale. And the belly pull back in with the exhale. One more circle at your own pace. Inhale up and exhale down. And very gently chin down to the chest. You may choose to stay here, or if it feels right for you, you can interlace the fingers back behind the head, letting the elbows hang over nice and heavy. You start to get this gentle stretch through the back of the neck. Now, you can play with this to wherever it feels good. If you lean forward more, you may feel it in a different part of the spine. If you stay straight, you may feel it more in the neck. Not pulling with the hands, we're just letting the weight of gravity help us out. And several deep breaths here, where as we inhale, the belly opens and expands. The ribs moving out to the sides, the front, and the back. And as we exhale, belly button pulls back in with you. Noticing the sensations in the body. Noticing the flow of breath moving in and out. Go ahead, releasing the head. Give it a little shake, make sure everything feels good. We're going to take our arms out in front of us. We're going to start with the wrists here. Bring the thumb to the joint of the second finger. We're just going to make a little fist over that. Notice if the shoulders are coming up to the ears, we're going to drop those shoulders back and down, really activating those muscles. And then a couple little swirls with these. Just continue deep breath. Focusing on awareness of sensation in the body and the breath moving in and out. Other direction with that. Palms faced up, shoulders still back and down. Point the fingertips towards the floor. So we're stretching through that front part of the arm. Those of us who spend a lot of time on the computer, these muscles can get really tight. So we're just taking them in the opposite way. Letting those shoulders start to warm up, even with these gentle movements. I like to just inhale here. And then as I exhale, bending the elbow, come in to touch the shoulders. Inhale, breath initiates the movement coming out. And exhale. And a few on your own. Mindful of the shoulders if they're coming up. Taking a break if you need to, listening to the wisdom of your body. Fingertips come in to touch the shoulders. Elbows come in together at the front if they can. If not, just bring them as far as they come comfortably. And we'll do a couple circles here, maybe 5 in each direction. Again, allowing breath to initiate the movement. Inhale up and exhale back and down. Inhale and exhale. Listening to the wisdom of your shoulders if this doesn't feel appropriate, or if you need to modify into smaller circles. No striving, being present, alert, and attentive to the wisdom of the body. And then elbows come together or next to each other, and then opposite direction. Still the same breath pattern. Inhale up And then exhale. Inhale up. And exhale down. Go ahead, release the arms, give them a nice little shake. Our feet aren't out in front of us already. We're going to pull them out in front. Back up a little here because of my limited space. And then sitting up nice and tall if we can. This is our stack pose. Now, if that doesn't feel comfortable, you can lean back into the hands or you can sit in Crocs. You can sit on a bolster, several blankets, blocks, whatever you have with you, even a large textbook. So we're going to start with just the toes here. And you can find your own breath pattern for this, but I like to inhale, pull the toes back towards me, open the toes as much as possible, and then exhale, squeeze the toes together. Breath again, initiating movement. Toes open, toes. Really honing your awareness down into the feet, welcoming sensation just as it is. And then just with the ankles, we are going to pull the ankles and the toes back towards us. And then we're going to push the toes away. The heels may slide against the floor, lengthening to the front of the leg there. Inhale back. And then exhale, reach. Or if you find another breath pattern is more comfortable, change it up. And maybe taking the hands behind us, however it feels comfortable. We're going to do some circles with the foot, the ankles, and the hips. So as we do this, it's not just the ankles that are moving. You're going to feel those hips rock as well. So we can drop to one side and then swirling back and around. Big circles, you're going to feel yourself rocking maybe forward and back as we do this. And whatever pace feels good for you. Using the breath as a guide if that feels right. Noticing if one ankle or hip feels different than the other. Welcoming that with curiosity. Isn't that interesting? And then other direction with that. Okay. Give the legs a little bounce. We may take them just a little bit further. We're going to do the same sort of pattern, but we're going to make it opposite here. Big toes come together at the midline and then swing in the opposite direction. And then the opposite direction with that as well. Give the legs a little bounce. We're going to roll forward. I'm going to turn to the side here. We're going to come onto our hands and knees, coming into a neutral table position. Feel free to stick a blanket underneath the knees. And if it feels right, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, coming out of the palms of the hands. Take a peek down. So we want that first finger coming back straight into the wrist. This helps to give good wrist support. There's this little bump on the outside of the wrist. And that first finger is going to shoot back in. So it's not quite wrist crease straight forward, but it's maybe a little bit to the outside. And if while we're in this position, it starts to bother your wrist at any time, as we move through a couple different poses. Feel free to take a break, sit back. You can even stretch the wrist in the opposite direction at any point. Let's actually start there for just a second. So if it feels all right, coming onto the tops of the hands as much as it feels good, stretching through the back side of the arm side. Knowing we can return to this at any time, or if any of the next postures feel inappropriate or not welcoming, switching into coming into something different. So returning again, hands underneath the shoulders, good wrist alignment with that first finger coming straight back into that long bone of the arm. Knees are underneath the hips. We'll do a little alternation of the spine here. Inhale, we're going to drop into the belly, roll the shoulders back, and look up or straight forward as much as that feels comfortable. And then as we exhale, we're going to go in the opposite direction. Kind of arching up like an angry cat, chin to the chest, belly button pulls in. Breath is initiating the movement here. Inhale, drop belly, look up if that feels appropriate. Exhale, chin to chest, arch up like angry cat. Inhale, and exhale. Knowing we can take a break at any time on the wrists, add more padding underneath the knees. Some people like to make a fist as well as we go through this. This feels more comfortable. All sorts of options here. Inhale, belly drops. Looking forward. Exhale, chin to chest. One more time. Inhale, lengthen up, belly drops. Exhale, chin to chest, arch up. Come back to neutral. And perhaps if it feels right, we'll work into a little bit of a balance here. You may want to take the left hand a little more center line. The right hand may start to reach out in front of us. And if it feels good, balancing on one arm out by the ear. And it may feel appropriate just to stay there. You may want to take the opposite leg. This would be your left leg, extending that left leg back. Maybe that's okay on the knee or the toes. But if you'd like a challenge and it feels right, reaching that foot up off the floor, flexing those toes towards you. No wrist pain here. Once you find your steadiness and ease within the posture, returning to that deep breath, feeling the ribs open and expand. Activating the muscles in the neck to keep the neck back in line with the shoulders, not dropping down. And let's go ahead and bring that hand on down to the floor. And we'll take a break back in a child's pose. So lots of ways to do this. We can do big toes together, heels a little bit apart, sitting back onto the heels. If we can't get back onto the heels, we can start to stack up some props there. We can throw a blanket back in there. We can even get some blocks stacked up in there, or even set up on a bolster as well. So take a moment if you need to adjust, find something to give you support. And then as we come down forward, if the forehead doesn't reach the mat or the arms are uncomfortable, we can take props up there as well. Blocks, blankets, straps, something underneath the forehead if that feels right. Find the version that's right for you, and we take several deep breaths here. Noticing the sensations in the body. Noticing the flow of breath. Feel the body expanding with the inhale, relaxing with the exhale. And if it feels right, remembering your intention for today's practice and interweaving that into every cell in your body as you breathe. Or if it feels right, interweaving your inner resource of being and well-being. And rolling on forward as we're ready, removing any props in front or behind us. Coming into our neutral table again. Maybe we take that right hand a little bit more to the center line as we prepare for our balance on the other side. Left hand, maybe it's just a little bit in front of us or on a finger, trying to find our balance. Perhaps it comes up by the ear, drawing that shoulder back, keeping the neck active as well so the head's not dropping down. And then maybe the right leg, the opposite leg starts to scooch back. Maybe we lift that up off the floor, flexing the toes towards us. If you fall out, remember to smile. This is just a fun game. Steady breath. Opening and expanding the ribs. Feeling into the sensation in the body with curiosity. And as you're ready, hand out of the floor, knee comes back down. One more time into our child's pose, grabbing any props that you need. And if it feels right, maybe adjusting the arms this time. If they're in front of you, maybe taking them behind you. Maybe just fingertips on the floor and arms up, or relaxing the elbows down. And with the elbows down, bringing the hands together to the back of them. Find a version that feels good for you. Interweaving that felt sense of being and well-being, and the intention for your practice today. We're going to push forward onto our belly. So however this feels right for you, maybe we snake low to the ground or we just kind of scooch the legs back. And we're going to just lie down on the belly for a second. Adjust everything so you feel comfortable. Forehead to the floor if that feels right. We're going to come up into a longer hold of a bit of a back bend here. So first option, elbows underneath the shoulders, perhaps palms to the floor, pushing back, and we just gently lift through the front of the heart. Notice if the shoulders are coming way up, we want to draw those shoulders back and down, feeling like the front of the chest and the heart is lifting. If this feels too high, we can back off and come down a little bit, change the position of the elbows. We are going to hold here for a couple breaths, looking forward if that feels appropriate. No pinching in the lower back as we do this. Tops of the feet are to the floor behind you. This is a little baby cobra pose or a sphinx pose, however you like to look. And again, finding that deep, steady breath, inhaling. You can feel the belly and the ribs opening and expanding, ribs expanding in all directions. We have the hips on the floor, so awareness from the pubic bone, perhaps all the way up to the center of the chest. And coming out of that, just laying down onto the floor, turning the head to one side if that feels appropriate. Pushing ourselves back up. We're going to swing the legs out in front of us, however that feels right. Take your time getting here. We're going to do a seated forward fold. So lots of options for this one. You may want to sit up on a blanket to lift the hips up a little bit. If it feels like the hamstrings are really limiting you, I found it can be very helpful to stick a blanket underneath the knees as well. Some folks like to use a strap so that they can reach down and kind of pull on the toes. Feel free to grab a belt. Maybe you have a belt on today or there's a belt nearby. Or if you have a yoga strap, we can do that too. Reaching down around there. So there's all these variations on this pose. Find the one that's right for you. Regardless, we're going to scooch away the fleshy parts behind us so we can feel those two little pointy things on our support, whether that's the mat or a block or the blanket. We're going to inhale, arms come up by the ears, feel yourself lengthen up through the spine. And then exhale, pull forward. If you can't grab the feet, that may be when we want to grab a prop for ourselves. No straining or striving here. Trying to really rotate through those hips, and we're going to take a couple deep breaths. Awareness on the intense stretch to the back of the legs, and perhaps the back of the spine. Awareness where we're folding in the hips and in the pelvic region. No tinglies in the toes at all. If we have that, we may want to back off a little bit by bending the knees and really focusing on that hinge forward there. And as it feels right, let's just gently walk ourselves back up. Using the hands, coming upright, just taking a moment to feel the effects of that posture. Notice any sensations in the body. Notice the breath. Even any thoughts or emotions that may arise, or any memories that co-arise. And if nothing's present, simply stay with what's most calling your attention right now. Coming into a nice spinal twist, I will demonstrate the easiest version of this one, or the most accessible for most people. Again, we can sit up on a prop if we need to. We're going to bend the right knee. We're going to take the foot down to the floor. Foot down on the floor. We're going to pull it in as close as feels comfortable, but being mindful of the knee. We're going to take the opposite arm to the right knee. So that'd be your left arm. It can be hand, it can be arm. We want to try to keep the chest open as we twist back over that right side. Opposite arm to the knee. If it feels good, inhale, the right arm comes up. And then exhale, we plant that hand behind us, or even on a prop if we need to. If we don't feel like we can reach the floor and feel comfortable. Really what we want to do is stay upright through the spine. If that leg is straight out in front of you, which it should be, we're going to flex those toes towards us. And then inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, twist and turn. Gently turning. Inhale. And exhale. One last inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist and turn. And coming back to center. Taking a moment to integrate that posture and anything that's present. And straightening that leg out in front of us. And we'll twist to the opposite side on this one. Left leg up and in. Opposite arm to the knee. Nice and tall. Flexing the toes on that foot towards us. Be adjusting a little bit if we need to. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, hand back behind us around a prop. Lengthening up, opening the front of the chest. Not striving so much for the twist, but more for the feeling of lifting up and gently turning. Last thing to turn is the head and the neck. And we take a few breaths. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist and turn. And welcoming sensation throughout the body as we're breathing. Noticing anything else co-arising. One last breath in and out. Inhale, lengthen up when you're ready. Exhale, twist and turn. And then go ahead, coming back to center, releasing the leg, taking a moment, noticing what you feel. And coming down onto our back nice and gently. Rolling down, taking as much time as you need. Bringing the feet, knees, and hips all in line. Maybe those heels walk in close, the buttocks, or maybe they stay a ways away. What feels right for you. And maybe a little rock back and forth on the pelvis for the sacrum. Rocking forwards and backwards after we've moved it in all directions today. Maybe side to side, rocking right, rocking. And then coming back to what you feel is neutral, taking a peek down, knees, feet, hips seem to be all in line, about a space. The space between the feet is about a fist width apart. Shoulders on the floor, and we'll do just a little bit of a bridge here. If it feels right, pressing into the feet, really squeezing the gluteal muscles, the buttocks, to activate, lifting up only as far as feels comfortable. I'll hold, if it feels right, for several breaths. You know this pose, and you've done other variations of interlacing the fingers, lifting the hips higher. Find the version that's right for you. And exhale, rolling back down. If it feels right, pulling the knees into the chest, giving yourself a nice squeeze. Noticing what's present now is most calling your attention, whether it's sensation, breath, emotions, or thoughts, or memories. Just noticing how all those are arising within your awareness throughout the practice. And creating a nice twist for ourselves, however we'd like to do this. Dropping the knees over towards the left side, taking the arms wherever they feel comfortable, moving any props that may be in the way. They could be out, they could be by the side. Knees can go up, knees can go down. You can change the position of the knees so that it feels right for you. Create the most interesting twist for yourself at the moment. Even play with the position of the neck. And inhaling back to center and dropping for a twist on the other side. Creating a twist that feels right for you. Noticing the sensation in the body. Perhaps the breath has become more calm. Maybe feeling the breath as it moves in and out through the nostrils. And inhaling back to center. Adjusting ourselves for our final resting position. We can do our final resting position in dozens of ways. You could just lay here on the floor, feet dropping open to the outside, a foot or two apart, arms to the outside, palms facing up, head just resting on the floor. If you'd like a pillow, please stick a pillow underneath the head. You can always grab a blanket and cover up with a blanket. You could roll a blanket underneath the knees or the head. If you have a bolster can be nice. You can even put an eye bag on. So taking a moment to find your resting position, lying on the floor. You can even sit up if you're more comfortable doing that. And as we come into this final resting position, I'm going to sit up just to be able to talk and lead you back through some of the initial practices that we went through today. But feel free to stay lying on the floor. And as you lie on the floor, or sit, or stand, whatever position you're in, eyes open or closed, noticing the surfaces that are supporting your body. If it feels right, allowing those body pieces, parts to just release into those surfaces. And again, allowing the senses to open. Maybe taste in the mouth. Smells in the room around you. The feel of your supports, clothes, the blanket on the body. Feeling of air on the skin. Sensations on the surface of the body. And sensation deep within the body. Any sounds that you hear in the room or even outside in the periphery. Just welcoming them into your awareness with curiosity. Instead of a distraction, just welcoming into awareness. Or maybe anything within the visual field as well. And then welcoming the whole body as a vibrant field of sensation. However you feel that vital life force pulsing through you. The heartbeat as a hum, or just a general sense of wellness and well-being. In recalling now your intention for today's practice, reaffirming that attention with your whole body and your whole mind. Stating it in the present tense as if it is true right now. Knowing that this intention will affirm itself throughout your day, your practice, and as you move into the next part of whatever is coming. Tapping in or sensing back into your felt sense of being and well-being. A safe haven of feeling secure and at ease. That we can all return to day or night, whenever. And then just taking a moment to notice that all of these changing sensations, the breath, vitality, thoughts and emotions, and our intention are all occurring within our awareness. Constantly changing sensations within our vast field of awareness. And allowing senses to reorientate to the room, feeling the body again. As you're ready, begin to perhaps deepen the breath if that feels right, taking deeper inhales and exhales. Perhaps you begin to bring back gentle movement if that feels right. Of course, if you're more comfortable staying here laying, you're welcome to stay. And when it feels right, bringing back larger movements, remembering the time of day, maybe the things we have to do next. But still knowing we can return to this deep sense of being and well-being within all of us at any time during our day. Perhaps we'd like to roll to one side before we transition up. Right side or left side. I prefer the right side. Give me just a little space for the heart to be. And again, taking extra time here if you need to, or returning to a seated position if that feels right. I would like to thank you all for joining me for this practice today. I wish you all the best on your journey. Look forward to hopefully seeing some of you in person at the Tennessee Valley VA for our yoga classes or our yoga teacher training. Thank you.